Some people get roses for their anniversary. I got the director's cut of my wife's greatest hits. My name is Owen Lasker, and I'm 43 years old. I supervise logistics at a mid-sized shipping company in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I drive a 10-year-old Ford pickup, drink Budweiser on weekends, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had a decent marriage. Shows what I know about anything. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. It was a Tuesday night in October when my world imploded. Rain hammered our modest suburban windows while I sat in my home office trying to organize digital photos for Dana's and my 20th anniversary. 20 years of marriage deserved something special, I figured. Maybe a slideshow at the restaurant, or a photo book. Something romantic. Dana was upstairs, supposedly grading event coordination proposals. Our 17-year-old daughter Maya was in her room, gaming with her headset on, shouting at strangers about their terrible aim. Normal Tuesday night in the Lasker household. I'd been scrolling through folders of vacation pictures when I found a flash drive tucked behind our desktop computer. It was labeled Our Best Moments in Dana's neat handwriting. My heart warmed a little. Maybe she'd been planning her own anniversary surprise. I plugged it in and clicked the first video file. The video quality was grainy, shot on a phone in low light. It took me a few seconds to recognize the setting, the conference room at Dana's event management company after hours. Then I recognized the voice. Dana's laugh, breathy and excited, but she wasn't laughing at anything I'd said. She was straddling Rick Munroe, or her married subordinate, on the conference table where they held Monday morning meetings. My hands went numb. The mouse slipped. I caught it and kept watching, some sick part of my brain needing confirmation that this was real. God, Rick, what if Owen finds out? Dana gasped on the video. Your boring husband? Rick's voice was muffled. Guy's probably asleep in front of ESPN already. They both laughed. That hurt worse than the cheating. I scrolled through the folder. 12 video files, different dates, different locations. Rick wasn't the only co-star. Her boss Alex Grant appeared in the newer files, shot in what looked like a hotel room. Alex was married too, with twin daughters Maya's age. You're so much more exciting than my wife, Alex said in one video, his hands tangled in Dana's hair. Camille just complains about bills and the kids. You understand ambition. That's what happens when you marry a small-town girl, Dana replied. I married small-town too, but at least I evolved. I sat back in my chair, staring at the screen. 20 years of marriage. A daughter together. A mortgage, joint bank accounts, shared dreams of retirement. And my wife was calling me small-town like it was a disease. The rain kept hammering the windows. Maya kept shouting at her game. Everything sounded exactly the same, but my entire life had just shifted off its foundation. I copied every file to my personal cloud storage, then to a second flash drive I kept in my desk. Then I opened my laptop and started researching. Dana's company had a strict fraternization policy. Alex, as her boss, was violating about 6 different HR regulations. Rick was married to Camille, a woman I'd met at company picnics who made excellent potato salad and always asked about Maya's grades. My phone buzzed. Text from Dana. Working late again. Don't wait up. Love you. I looked at the timestamp on the newest video. Shot 2 hours ago. Love you too, I texted back. Then I opened my email and started typing. Wednesday morning arrived gray and cold. Typical for October in Michigan. I made coffee, scrambled eggs, and watched Dana rush around the kitchen in her power suit, checking her phone every 30 seconds. Big presentation today? I asked, buttering toast. Just the usual chaos, she said, not meeting my eyes. Alex has been riding everyone hard about the Morrison account. I'll bet he has, I thought. Sounds stressful. You have no idea. She grabbed her travel mug and pecked my cheek. Her perfume was different, expensive. I might be late again tonight. Of course you might. After she left, I called in sick to work and spent the morning crafting my masterpiece. The email to Dana's HR department was professional, concerned, and devastating. I attached 3 of the tamest videos, still explicit enough to end careers, but not so graphic that HR wouldn't watch them as evidence. The email to the company's board of directors was shorter and more direct. Alex Grant was using his position to coerce subordinates. Here was proof. The anonymous post to the local business forum was my personal favorite. I blurred faces but left voices clear. Local event company executives caught on camera, I titled it. Is this what professional networking looks like now? But the text to Camille Munroe was the nuclear option. Your husband, Rick, is cheating with his boss, Dana Lasker, I have video proof. We should talk. I scheduled everything to send at 10 a.m. when I knew Dana would be in her morning meeting. Then I drove to the warehouse where I worked and waited. My phone started buzzing at 10:15. "Owen!" Dana's voice was shrill, panicked. "Owen, something terrible is happening. Someone hacked my computer. They're spreading lies about me and Rick and—" "Slow down," I said calmly. "What kind of lies?" "Videos. Fake videos of me and Rick at the office. And Alex, too. Someone sent them to HR and the board and posted them online and—" She was crying now. "Owen, I need you to come get me. They're asking me to leave the building." "Fake videos?" I asked. "That's weird. Why would someone fake videos of you specifically?" "I don't know. Maybe a disgruntled client or someone who didn't get promoted or—" "Dana," I interrupted. "Are they actually fake?" Silence stretched between us. In the background, I could hear office commotion, raised voices, phones ringing. "Of course they're fake," she said finally. "How can you even ask me that?" "Just checking. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hung up and leaned back in my truck. Through the warehouse windows, I could see my coworkers loading pallets, operating forklifts, doing honest work for honest pay. Small-town work, Dana would call it. But at least we weren't screwing our subordinates in conference rooms. My phone buzzed again. Text from an unknown number. "This is Rick Munroe. We need to meet. Today." I smiled and started the engine. The scene at Dana's office building was beautiful chaos. Security guards stood by the elevators, looking uncomfortable. Employees clustered in small groups, whispering and checking their phones. Through the glass walls of the executive floor, I could see people in suits having animated conversations. Dana waited by the reception desk, clutching a cardboard box of personal items. Her face was blotchy from crying, her perfect makeup smeared. She looked small and fragile, nothing like the confident woman in the videos. "Thank God you're here," she said, grabbing my arm. "This is insane, Owen. Someone is trying to destroy me." "Any idea who?" "It has to be someone with access to our building. Maybe Rick's wife found out about our friendship and—" "Friendship?" Dana's face flushed. "You know what I mean. Rick and I work closely together. People might misinterpret our professional relationship." I nodded thoughtfully. "Right. Professional relationship. Got it." We drove home in silence. Dana stared out the window, occasionally sniffling. I kept my hand steady on the wheel and my voice calm when she finally spoke. "They put me on administrative leave pending investigation," she said. "Rick, too. Alex is meeting with lawyers." "That seems extreme for fake videos." "The board is overreacting. They're scared of bad publicity." She turned to look at me. Owen, I need you to know that whatever you see or hear in the next few days, I love you. I love our family. Everything else is just complicated." "Complicated how?" "I can't explain right now. Just trust me, okay?" I pulled into our driveway and looked at my wife of 20 years. "Dana, were you having an affair?" She stared at me for a long moment. "No," she said finally. "I would never do that to you." "Good," I said, "because that would really complicate things." That evening, while Dana locked herself in our bedroom making frantic phone calls, I met Rick Munroe at a coffee shop downtown. She was a small woman with prematurely gray hair and tired eyes, but her handshake was firm and her voice was steady. "Show me," she said without preamble. I slid my tablet across the table and watched her face as she watched the videos. She didn't cry or gasp or make any sound at all. She just watched, occasionally pausing to study Rick's face or rewind a particularly damning conversation. "How long?" she asked finally. "Based on the timestamps, about 8 months." 8 months. She closed the tablet and pushed it back to me. "I've been wondering why he started working so much overtime. Why he bought new clothes, started going to the gym, changed his cologne." She laughed bitterly. "I thought he was having a midlife crisis." "I'm sorry, Camille." "Are you? Because you don't look sorry. You look angry." I considered lying, then decided she deserved honesty. "I am angry, furious actually, but I'm also sorry this happened to you." "What do you want from me?" "I want them to face consequences. Real consequences. Not just losing their jobs, but losing everything they thought they could take for granted." Camille studied my face. "You want revenge?" "I want justice. There's a difference." "Is there?" She was quiet for a moment. "Rick cleaned out our savings account yesterday. Said it was for a business investment. Now I know what business he was investing in." Dana's been working late every night for months, missing Maya's school events, canceling date nights, always too tired for conversation. I met Camille's eyes. They made us feel like we weren't enough, like we were boring and small and unworthy of basic respect. So what do you propose? I propose we show them exactly how boring and small we can be. Camille and I became unlikely partners over the next 2 weeks. She was methodical, where I was impulsive, cautious, where I was reckless. She also had access to Rick's computer and phone records, which proved invaluable. Look at this, she said, spreading printouts across the table at our usual coffee shop. Rick's been charging hotel rooms to his business credit card. Always the same hotel, always the same day of the week. Wednesday afternoons. Dana's standing Wednesday meetings, I said. She told me they were client consultations. And here's the interesting part. Alex Grant's company credit card shows charges at the same hotel, different days. Looks like your wife was juggling her schedule pretty carefully. I studied the records. This is good, but it's not enough. We need something that hits them where it really hurts. Their reputations are already destroyed. Rick got demoted to junior coordinator, Dana's blacklisted from every event company in the state, and Alex is under investigation by the board. That's professional consequences. I want personal ones. Camille raised an eyebrow. Such as? Rick's golf buddies, Dana's book club, Alex's country club membership. I want their friends and neighbors to know exactly who they really are. She paused. That's pretty vindictive, Owen. Yes, it is. She smiled for the first time since I'd met her. I like it. We started small. Anonymous tips to the local newspaper's gossip columnist about certain local business executives caught in compromising positions. Carefully edited video clips sent to Dana's book club group chat. Screenshots of hotel receipts forwarded to Rick's golf partners with the message, "Guess who's been playing more than 18 holes?" The response was swift and brutal. Dana's book club expelled her via group text. Rick got uninvited from his weekly poker game. Alex's wife Jennifer filed for divorce and took out a restraining order. But Dana and Rick weren't going down quietly. Owen, we need to talk, Dana said Friday evening. She'd been staying in the guest room since the scandal broke, claiming she needed space to think. This has gone too far. What has? Someone is systematically destroying my life. First the videos, now someone's contacting my friends, spreading rumors about me at Maya's school, even calling my mother. Her eyes were red-rimmed but determined. I think it might be Camille Munroe. I looked up from my newspaper. Rick's wife? She has motive, and she's always seemed unstable to me, jealous of successful women. Successful women like you? Don't be sarcastic, Owen. This is serious. Someone is stalking me, and I think we should call the police. And tell them what? That someone leaked videos of you cheating on your husband? Dana's face went white. I never said I was cheating. You never said you weren't either, not convincingly. She sat down across from me, her hands folded in her lap. Owen, I made some mistakes. I got caught up in office politics. I let my ambition cloud my judgment, and I hurt people I care about. But I'm still your wife. I'm still Maya's mother. Don't I deserve a chance to make this right? For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. She looked genuinely remorseful, genuinely scared. Then I remembered her voice on those videos, laughing about her boring husband who was probably asleep in front of ESPN. How would you make it right, Dana? Counseling, therapy, whatever it takes to rebuild your trust. What about Rick and Alex? Her jaw tightened. What about them? Are you still in contact with them? Only about work-related issues. I nodded and went back to my newspaper. Okay. Okay? We can try counseling. Relief flooded her face. Really? Owen, thank you. I know I don't deserve... But first, I need you to do something for me. Anything. I need you to call Rick and Alex and tell them to stop contacting you. All of you need to take responsibility for what happened instead of blaming some mysterious stalker. Of course. I'll call them right now. She left the room to make the calls. I waited 5 minutes, then picked up the extension in the kitchen and listened. Can't keep doing this, Dana was saying. Owen's getting suspicious, and someone's been leaking information about all of us. It's that snake Camille. Rick's voice was slurred. He'd been drinking more since the scandal broke. She's trying to destroy all of us because she can't handle that I found someone better. We need to be smarter, Alex's voice cut in. He was on a conference call. Stop all contact, delete any remaining evidence, and wait for this to blow over. What about the money? Dana asked. What money? The Morrison account funds are still in the Cayman account, Alex said. Once my divorce is finalized and the board investigation ends, we can figure out how to access them without raising suspicions. How much are we talking about? Rick asked. $2.7 million, Alex replied, plus interest. I hung up the phone very carefully and sat down at the kitchen table. My wife wasn't just a cheater, she was an embezzler. and apparently she was planning to wait out the storm and then disappear with stolen money. I called Camille. "We need to meet," I said. "Tonight, and bring a recording device." $2.7 million, Camille repeated. We were sitting in my truck in the parking lot of a 24-hour diner, rain streaking the windows. They stole $2.7 million from client accounts. The Morrison account was their biggest client, I said. Some kind of corporate retreat planning that required advance payments for venues, catering, entertainment. Dana was the lead coordinator. And Alex authorized the transfers to an offshore account, with Rick handling the paperwork to make it look legitimate. I showed her the photos I'd taken of Dana's home office. I found bank statements hidden in her desk. They've been skimming money for over a year. Camille whistled low. "This isn't just adultery anymore, Owen. This is federal fraud." "I know. We have to call the FBI." "Not yet." She stared at me. "What do you mean, not yet?" "I mean, we use this information strategically. Right now, they think they're safe. They think their only problem is some anonymous person leaking videos. They don't know we know about the money. So? So we make them panic. We make them turn on each other. And we record everything." Camille was quiet for a long moment. "You're not talking about justice anymore, Owen. You're talking about revenge. Is there a difference?" "Yes. Justice is about making things right. Revenge is about making things hurt." I looked out at the rain. "They made me feel like nothing, Camille. Like I was so boring and insignificant that I deserved to be lied to and cheated on and laughed at behind my back. They stole my wife, my marriage, my trust, and $2.7 million from people who trusted them. So we call the authorities and let the system handle it. The system will give them lawyers and plea bargains and minimum security prison sentences. They'll be out in 3 years, and they'll still have each other." I turned to face her. "I want them to lose everything, their freedom, their money, their relationships, and their ability to ever trust anyone again." Camille studied my face in the dim light from the diner's neon sign. "You're scaring me a little, Owen." "Good. I'm scaring myself too." She was quiet for another moment, then sighed. "What do you need me to do?" The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Camille would approach Rick with a proposition. She knew about the offshore account, and she wanted her fair share in exchange for her silence. Rick, desperate and drunk most nights now, would panic and contact Dana and Alex. They would either try to buy Camille's silence or eliminate her as a threat. Either way, we'd have them on tape discussing the embezzlement. "What if they try to hurt me?" Camille asked. "They won't. They're white-collar criminals, not violent felons. The worst they'll do is threaten to sue you." "And if you're wrong?" "Then I'll be right there with a baseball bat and a very bad attitude." We set up the meeting for Saturday afternoon at Rick and Camille's house. I would be in the basement with recording equipment, listening through the heating vents. Camille would wear a wire as backup. Rick arrived drunk, which made our job easier. Drunk people say things they shouldn't say. "You can't prove anything," he slurred, pacing around their living room while Camille sat calmly on the couch. "Those bank statements could be fake." "Could be," Camille agreed, "but they're not, and neither are the transfer records I found in your desk drawer." "You went through my desk?" "I went through everything, Rick. Your computer, your phone, your car, your gym bag. Amazing what you find when you actually start looking." I heard Rick pour another drink. "What do you want?" "I want my half." "Your half of what?" "Don't play dumb. $1.35 million. My share of the money you stole while you were screwing your boss." "It's not that simple, Camille. The money's in an offshore account. Alex controls the transfers. Dana has the account numbers. It's complicated." "Then uncomplicate it." "I can't just—" Rick's phone rang. "It's Dana. I have to take this." "Put it on speaker," Camille said. "I want to hear what she has to say about my proposition." "Camille knows," Rick said without preamble when he answered the call. "Knows what?" Dana's voice was sharp. "About the Morrison money. She wants half." Silence then. "How much does she know?" "Everything. Bank statements, transfer records, account numbers." "Shit." Dana was quiet for a moment. "Put her on the phone." Camille took the phone. "Hello, Dana." "Camille, we need to talk about this reasonably. What you're suggesting could hurt a lot of innocent people." "Innocent people like your husband? Your daughter?" "Yes, and Rick's children too. Do you really want to destroy 2 families over money?" "You already destroyed the families," Camille said calmly. "I'm just trying to salvage something from the wreckage." "The money isn't accessible right now. The FBI investigation has frozen all of Alex's assets pending." "What FBI investigation?" Rick interrupted. Another silence. Then Dana said, "Alex didn't tell you? Someone tipped off the federal authorities about irregularities in the Morrison account. They're conducting a full audit. When? Camille asked. They started yesterday. Alex thinks someone in accounting got suspicious about the transfer timing. I smiled in the basement. I'd made that anonymous tip to the FBI Financial Crimes Division 2 days ago. So the money's gone? Rick sounded panicked. Not gone, just frozen. Once the investigation clears us, we'll have access again. And if it doesn't clear us? Then we all go to prison, Dana said flatly, which is why we need to present a united front. No one talks to investigators without lawyers present. No one admits to anything, and no one makes deals behind anyone else's back. What about Camille? Rick asked. Camille is going to keep her mouth shut because if she doesn't, she'll be charged as an accessory after the fact. Accessory to what? Camille asked. You think Rick managed those transfer records by himself? You think he understood international banking regulations and offshore account structures? Someone helped him with the paperwork, Camille. Someone with access to his computer and his personal information. You're saying I helped steal the money? I'm saying that's how it will look to investigators. Your fingerprints are on documents, your name is on bank account access logs, and you had motive to help your husband embezzle funds to pay off his gambling debts. I heard Camille's sharp intake of breath. What gambling debts? Oh, Rick didn't tell you? He owes $40,000 to some very unpleasant people in Detroit. The Morrison money wasn't just about greed, Camille. It was about keeping your husband's kneecaps intact. The line went quiet. Then Rick said, Dana, you promised you wouldn't. I promised I wouldn't tell Owen. I never promised I wouldn't tell your wife. You snake, Camille whispered. I'm a realist, Dana replied. And the reality is that we're all in this together now. So here's what's going to happen. Camille is going to stop making demands and start keeping her mouth shut. Rick is going to stop drinking and start acting like a responsible adult. And all of us are going to wait for this FBI investigation to conclude. And if they find evidence? Camille asked. Then we blame Alex. He authorized the transfers, he set up the offshore accounts, and he has the most to gain from embezzling client funds. Rick and I were just following orders from our boss. That's not true, Rick protested. It's true enough, Dana said. Alex has been skimming money from client accounts for years. We just got caught up in his scheme. But the hotel records, the personal expenses, irrelevant to the financial crimes investigation. Our personal relationship doesn't change the fact that Alex was our supervisor and we were following his instructions. I'd heard enough. I climbed the basement stairs and walked into the living room, where Camille sat frozen on the couch and Rick stood swaying by the window. Interesting conversation, I said. Rick dropped his phone. Camille stared at me with wide eyes. Dana's voice came from the speaker. Rick? Rick, are you still there? I picked up the phone. Hi, honey, I'm here. Owen? Dana's voice went up an octave. What are you doing at Rick's house? Listening to my wife plan her defense strategy for federal embezzlement charges. I sat down next to Camille. $40,000 in gambling debts, Rick? That's a lot of poker games. Rick's face went gray. Owen, I can explain. No need. I recorded everything. I held up my phone, which had been recording the entire conversation. $2.7 million. Offshore accounts, blaming Alex, framing Camille as an accessory. Oh, very thorough. You can't use that recording in court, Dana said from the phone speaker. It's illegal to record people without their consent. Good thing I'm not planning to use it in court, I replied. I'm planning to use it somewhere much more effective. Where? The internet, Dana, where everything lives forever. Sunday morning, I uploaded the recording to every social media platform I could think of. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the local news station's tip line. I titled it Local Business Executives Discuss Embezzling $2.7 million and Framing Innocent People. The response was immediate and devastating. By noon, the story was trending on local Twitter. By evening, it had been picked up by regional news stations. By Monday morning, it was a cautionary tale about corporate corruption being discussed on national business news programs. Dana came home Sunday night to find her belongings packed in suitcases by the front door. Owen, we need to talk about this rationally, she said, standing in our living room like a stranger. Rationally? I was sitting in my recliner, drinking a beer and watching the local news coverage of her scandal. You stole nearly $3 million, cheated on me with 2 different men, and tried to frame your lover's wife for your crimes. What part of that suggests you're interested in rational conversation? I never meant for things to go this far. Which things? The adultery, the embezzlement, or the fraud? She sat down on the couch, carefully avoiding eye contact. I got in over my head, Owen. Alex convinced me that we were just borrowing the money, that we'd pay it back before anyone noticed. And the personal stuff, That just happened. Just happened, like an earthquake or a flat tire. I know you're angry. I'm not angry anymore, Dana. I'm done. She looked up at me then, and I saw fear in her eyes for the first time. What does that mean? It means I filed for divorce yesterday. It means I've closed our joint bank accounts and moved Maya's college fund into a trust account you can't access. It means I've given copies of all evidence to the FBI, the IRS, and your company's board of directors. You're destroying our family. No, Dana. You destroyed our family. I'm just cleaning up the mess. What about Maya? She needs stability. She needs both her parents. Maya needs a parent who doesn't steal money and lie about it. Fortunately, she has one. Dana stood up abruptly. You self-righteous bastard. You think you're so much better than me, but you're not. You're boring and small, and you've never taken a risk in your entire life. You're right, I agreed. I am boring and small. I go to work every day, pay my bills on time, and keep my promises. Apparently, that makes me a better person than I realized. I won't let you take Maya away from me. You won't have a choice. Child custody gets complicated when one parent is in federal prison. She stared at me for a long moment, then picked up her suitcases. This isn't over, Owen. Yes, it is. After she left, I called Maya at her friend's house and asked her to come home. She'd been staying away since the scandal broke, embarrassed by the media attention and confused by the sudden changes in our family. Dad, is it true? She asked when she walked in. Did Mom really steal all that money? Yes. And she was cheating on you? Yes. Maya sat down on the couch and stared at the floor. I feel like I don't know her anymore. I know the feeling. Are you okay? I considered the question. Was I okay? My marriage was over, my wife was facing federal charges, my daughter was traumatized, and my life had been turned upside down. But for the first time in months, I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't confused or frustrated or feeling inadequate. I was free. Yeah, I said. I think I am. The trials took 2 years to conclude. Alex Grant was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for orchestrating the embezzlement scheme. Rick Munroe got 5 years for his role in falsifying documents and transferring funds. Dana got 6 years, despite her lawyer's attempts to portray her as a victim of Alex's manipulation. The civil suits took another year. The Morrison account clients recovered most of their money from seized assets, insurance claims, and Alex's frozen accounts. Rick's gambling debts were paid from the sale of his house. Dana's legal fees consumed what was left of her savings. Camille moved to Florida to live with her sister. We stayed in touch through Christmas cards and occasional emails. She started a small business doing bookkeeping for local restaurants and seemed genuinely happy for the first time since I'd known her. Maya graduated high school with honors and got a full scholarship to Michigan State. She visited Dana in prison twice, then stopped going. It's too depressing, she told me. She just keeps saying she's sorry and asking when I'm going to forgive her. Are you going to forgive her? Maybe someday, but not because she's asking me to. I kept working at the warehouse, got a small promotion, and bought a newer truck. I dated a few women, but nothing serious developed. I was content with my small, boring life. 3 years after the scandal broke, I ran into Alex Grant's ex-wife Jennifer at the grocery store. She'd remarried and looked genuinely happy. Owen, she said, seeming pleased to see me. How are you doing? Good. Really good, actually. How about you? Wonderful. I heard Maya's doing well in college. Dean's List last semester. She's majoring in criminal justice. Jennifer laughed. I guess she comes by it honestly. You know, I never thanked you properly for exposing what Alex was doing. If you hadn't leaked those recordings, I might never have found out about the money he was hiding from our divorce proceedings. You don't need to thank me. I wasn't doing it to help you. I know. You were doing it for revenge. But sometimes revenge and justice end up in the same place. I thought about that conversation for weeks afterward. Had I been seeking justice or revenge? Did it matter? Dana was released from federal prison last month after serving 4 years of her sentence. She's living in a halfway house in Detroit, working at a call center, and attending mandatory counseling sessions. She sent me a letter asking if we could meet for coffee to discuss closure. I threw the letter away. Some people might call that cruel. They might say I should forgive her, that holding grudges only hurts the person holding them. They might be right. But I learned something important during those dark months when my world fell apart. Sometimes the boring, small-town guy wins. Not through grand gestures or dramatic confrontations, but through patience, preparation, and the simple refusal to let other people's bad choices define his worth. Dana thought I was too boring to notice her affairs, too small to understand her ambitions, too insignificant to fight back when she betrayed me. She was wrong on all 3 counts. I may be boring and small, but I'm also thorough. And when someone tries to destroy my life, I make sure they understand exactly how expensive that mistake can be. Maya called me last night from her apartment near campus. She's engaged to a young man studying accounting, someone steady and reliable who makes her laugh and treats her with respect. "Dad," she said, "I want you to know that watching how you handled everything with Mom, it taught me what I should expect from the people I love." "What's that?" "Honesty, loyalty, basic human decency." "Those aren't big expectations, Maya." "No, but apparently they're bigger than some people can meet." After we hung up, I sat on my back porch with a beer and watched the sun set over the lake. My small, boring life stretched out ahead of me, full of honest work, genuine relationships, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that I'd survived the worst thing that had ever happened to me. And I'd made sure that the people who tried to destroy me paid a price they'd never forget. Some people get roses for their anniversary. I got justice.